Okay, guys. So today I said we're talking about assets, and these assets, the type of assets we're going to be focusing on are images for now, because those are like what you are going to pretty much need this week for your tasks and the likes. And it is like also probably the easiest one we can touch, since we are just doing an intro to widgets. So let's move. Um, so in Flutter apps, as you probably already know, everything's a widget, including your images. So there are widgets that help you display images on the screen. And there are different ways for you to display these images. You can make your images, you can make your app get your images from within the app. That's, you have included the file in the app folder itself, or you can get images via network, via URL. So that means you can import images from, say an image you found on Google, and you import it and display it on the screen. So Flutter is going to take care of fetching the image and showing it. The only hiccup with network images is that you're not going to be able to get those images if you don't have network connection. Yeah. So I'm going to show you how to do both of these. But we're going to start with the network image, because it is easier for us to do. It's easier for us to just do once before talking about assets as a whole. Yeah. So I'm going to get rid. I think I should get rid of this container. Yeah, and probably just put this. Oh no, just remove this. So we said we want to do network image first. So now the for the first thing we need to note is, so the child that I'm going to pass in to this container is going to be the image widget. And if you hover over the image, if you hover on the image widget class, you can see a bit of like a documentation about it. Says create a widget that displays an image. To show an image from the network or from an asset bundle, which is what we're still going to talk about. But now I'm focusing on network for now. Consider using new image network or new image asset respectively. So the thing is, there are other specific widgets that you can use to get network image or asset image. But in this case, I'm just going to go on with using the image widget, because it is I think it's going to be easier for people to understand. So we're going to go find an image, and we're going to input that URL in here. I'm going to input that URL in here. So it is network image, open brackets, and then you insert your URL in here. So quickly going to hop to my browser. So let's go to Splash. Just going to use any of these images. Not really picky about them. Like this one. So I'm going to copy the link to this image. Right on. Getting this timeout exceeded, but let me see if it works. Um, so let me see if this works. If it doesn't, then probably an issue with the link. But let's see. Okay, so yeah, you can see it works. The image is enclosed in the container. So I'm going to remove the color for that container and probably increase the width and height, say 500. 500, 700, see, that's 7,000. So yeah, you can see the image being displayed in the center of the screen. So that's basically how easy it is to get images from a URL. So now you can see the image trainer app, easy peasy, and that's all. You can then say style it, maybe we'll look into style. So the scope of today's lecture isn't really about styling it. It's basically about knowing how to bring these images into your app and place them. So yeah, I'm wrapping it in a container so I can change the size, but you can also change the size directly from the image widgets. So now moving to asset widgets. So moving to assets image, getting your images from an asset bundle. So first thing I should do is change the name of this widget to asset image. I think right. I think there's going to be. So you can see the image says asset name in here. So we're going to see how we can get our assets, load it into our app, and use the name here. So assets are mostly like general files that you'd want to use in your app, say fonts or fonts, images, maybe videos, audio, all those kind of files, not only media files, but like other type of files. So to use assets in your app, first thing you want to do is first thing you need to do is create a folder. I'm going to name my assets. This folder can be named whatever you want, but it is, it makes a bit more sense to name it assets since that is what you're going to be storing in it. So, and you have to make sure that you are creating it in the root in the root directory. So you're not creating this folder inside any other folder. You're just creating it on its own outside. So yeah, then we should download a couple of images to test what we're going to be explaining out. So I'm going to go back to our Splash, and let's download a couple of images. Oh, just good. See one last image. Okay, so after getting the images, next thing we would want to do is bring those images into the asset folder. I'm going to rename them first. Okay, so brought those images in. So now the next thing you want to do is go to your popspec.yaml file, and you in here you want to do the following. So you want to tell Flutter where to find your files, where to find your asset files, and you can import the assets like one after the other, or you can just put in the whole folder, the whole directory. But in this case, we're going to first do each file separately. So first thing you do is create a key called assets. Then you have to indent it the exact way I am doing here. If not, it's not going to, Flutter is not going to see these files. So your dash and the directory where your files are, in my case, assets, then the name of the file. First one we downloaded was image1.jpg, and you have to make sure that you also include the file extension, the image extension. So that's the first file, and let's just try to use the first one. So you see, when I save my password.yaml, it is trying to do Flutter packages get because of a change. So exit equals 0, which means no problems. And if I come back to where asset image, now this should work. So now you also have to put in the whole directory of that file, in my case assets slash image1 dot jpg. Save this. Yeah, and now you can see that the image shows here in the screen or on the screen. So that is basically it with using your assets files in Flutter. And if I try to use image2, you should see that it's so yeah, you see that it doesn't change, and that is because we haven't actually included image2.jpg in our list of assets here in the password.yaml file. So Go ahead and do that. Same thing. So, yeah, if I hot reload this app, if I hot reload this, it should update the image, but you already know how to do that, so there's no need going over it again. So now what I'm going to talk about is, so in the case where you have like so many asset files, like maybe I don't know, like 30 or 20 files, you might be wondering, so do I have to import every single one, like write the same thing all over again, like 20 times or 30 times? So you actually don't. And that brings us to what I said about using the whole folder directory. So all you want to do is clear that up and just have assets slash. So this means this is kind of telling Flutter that you want to include every file under this assets directory. So you save this and wait for it to update. And let's change it back to image one. Hopefully this works. Yeah, image one works. Sound issue. Okay. So now you can see that I'm able to use both. I'm able to use both files. I'm able to use both image files and to show them on the screen. I've gone over the both ways you can import images to your apps. First is network image using a URL that's a link, maybe an image hosted somewhere. And the second one we talked about is asset image, where you use your local files, that's files that are inside your project. And then another thing to note is network images. You need internet connection on the device to be able to get those images loaded. And asset images, as long as you have them here, it is going to work.